Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, this is a place where we take big, complicated ideas and break them down into something simple, fun, and genuinely fascinating to listen to. So stick around, because today's topic is one that affects every single one of us, every single night. Here is a thought that is going to blow your mind a little. Right now, while you are sitting there completely awake, millions of people around the world are fast asleep. And their brains are secretly running a full-on night shift, busy, active, and working harder than most people ever realize. That is right. Your brain does not just switch off when you fall asleep. It cleans itself, saves your memories, balances your emotions, and repairs your body. All while you are lying there completely unaware, probably drooling on your pillow. So today, we are going deep inside the sleeping brain to answer one simple but incredibly fascinating question. What on earth is actually happening up there every single night? Grab a seat, get comfortable, and let us get into it. Alright, first things first, let us clear up something that most people completely get wrong. Sleep is not just resting. It is not your brain going quiet or taking a little vacation. Sleep is an active, powerful, deeply complex process that your brain absolutely needs to stay healthy, sharp, and functioning properly. Think of your brain like a smartphone. You use it all day long. Every thought, every conversation, every decision, every scroll through your feed. And just like your phone, if you never plug it in to charge, it slows down, starts glitching, and eventually just stops working the way it should. Sleep is your brain's charger. And here's the part that genuinely surprises most people. Even in the deepest sleep, your brain never fully shuts down. Billions of brain cells are still communicating with each other throughout the entire night. In fact, some of the most important work your brain ever does happens while you are completely unconscious. Every night, your brain moves through repeating cycles of sleep. Each cycle lasts roughly 90 minutes, and depending on how long you sleep, you will go through around 4 to 6 of these full cycles before morning. Each one of those cycles has different stages, and each stage has a completely different job to do. Think of those stages like departments inside a big company. The cleaning department, the memory department, the repair department, the dreaming department, all running back to back through the night, each one picking up where the last one left off. The very first stage is called light sleep. This is a gentle in-between moment when you are just starting to drift off. Your muscles might twitch, sounds can still pull you back to being awake, and your brain is just beginning to slow down. You know that sudden jolt where you feel like you are falling and you snap awake? Yes, that happens right here in this stage. After that, you move into the second stage of sleep. Your brain waves slow down even further here. Your heart rate drops, your body temperature starts to fall, and your brain begins sending out short, sharp bursts of electrical activity called sleep spindles. These little bursts play a very important role, and we will come back to them a little later. Then comes deep sleep, also called slow wave sleep. This is the stage that is hardest to wake someone from. If you have ever tried shaking someone awake and they just would not move, they were most likely right here. During this stage, your brain produces big, slow, powerful rhythms called delta waves, rolling through your brain like deep ocean waves. Deep sleep is your body's main repair shift. Muscles heal, tissues rebuild, your immune system kicks into high gear. If you want to recover from being sick faster, if you want your body to actually heal, deep sleep is where that happens. It is not optional. It is essential. And then, after all of that quiet, deep, slow wave sleep, something genuinely strange happens. You enter REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. And in this stage, your brain does something that honestly sounds a little impossible when you first hear it. Your brain becomes almost as active as when you are fully awake. Neurons start firing rapidly, brain activity spikes, and your eyes begin moving back and forth quickly beneath your closed eyelids. Hence the name rapid eye movement. And yet your body is lying completely still. This is the stage where your most vivid, most emotional, most bizarre dreams happen. Your brain is building entire worlds inside your head, full scenes, conversations, stories, feelings, while your body does absolutely nothing. It is one of the most mysterious and incredible things the human brain does. Now, here is the clever safety trick your brain pulls during REM sleep. It temporarily paralyzes most of your major muscles. So even though your dream brain is running wild through some strange adventure, your body cannot physically act it out. No sleepwalking, no punching, no actually running away from whatever is chasing you in that dream. Scientists have actually done brain scans on people during REM sleep, and the results are genuinely wild. The brain activity patterns look almost identical to someone who is fully awake and actively thinking. That is how busy your sleeping brain really is. As the night goes on, these sleep cycles keep repeating. But here is something really interesting. The earlier cycles of the night have more deep sleep, while the later cycles have longer and longer REM stages, which is why your most vivid and most memorable dreams almost always happen right before you wake up in the morning. Now, let us talk about one of the most mind-blowing things your brain does while you sleep. Something scientists only discovered relatively recently. Your brain actually cleans itself, and it has a dedicated system for doing it called the glymphatic system. During the day, as your brain works hard, waste products build up between your brain cells. Byproducts of all that thinking, processing, and activity just accumulate inside your brain throughout the day. And if they are not cleared out regularly, they start causing serious problems. Here is where sleep becomes absolutely critical. When you fall into deep sleep, the support cells in your brain, called glial cells, actually shrink in size. And when they shrink, they open up more space between brain cells, like widening the gaps between pipes. Through those widened gaps, cerebrospinal fluid floods through your brain, washing, flushing, and clearing out all the waste that built up during the day. It is like your brain running its own dishwasher every single night while you sleep. And one of the most important things this cleaning process flushes out is a toxic protein called beta amyloid. You may have heard of it. It is the same protein that when it builds up too much over time is strongly linked to Alzheimer's disease. So when you skip sleep, you are not just feeling tired the next day, you are literally letting toxic waste pile up inside your brain. Night after night of poor sleep means less cleaning, more buildup, and over time, real damage. Think of it this way. Imagine never washing the dishes in your kitchen. The first day is fine. The second day, not great. By the end of the week, complete disaster. That is what chronic sleep deprivation does to your brain on a cellular level. Now, let us shift to something equally amazing. What sleep does for your memory. Because this is where things get really interesting. Sleep is not just when your brain rests from learning. It is actually when your brain does most of its learning work. Everything you experience, learned, or went through during the day does not just sit in your brain exactly as it happened. While you sleep, your brain actively sorts through all of it, deciding what to keep, what to strengthen, and what to let fade away. Two key brain regions work together for this. The hippocampus, which acts like a temporary holding area for new memories, and the cortex, which is the brain's long-term storage. While you sleep, memories get transferred from the hippocampus to the cortex for permanent keeping. Your brain actually replays the events of your day while you sleep, almost like rewinding and watching footage. And every time it replays a memory, it strengthens the neural connections associated with it, making that memory more solid and easier to recall later. This is why students who sleep well after studying consistently outperform students who pull all-nighters. The all-nighter crew skip the very stage where the brain locks in what they studied. Sleep is not the enemy of learning, it is the most important part of it. And those sleep spindles we mentioned earlier, they play a huge role right here. Sleep spindles are believed to be one of the key mechanisms that transfer information from short-term memory in the hippocampus to long-term storage in the cortex. The more spindles, the better the memory consolidation. Here's another cool example. Say you spent the afternoon trying to learn a new skill. Maybe a guitar chord, a new dance move, or a tricky math concept. You struggled with it. You went to sleep, and the next morning, it somehow felt easier. That is not magic. That is your brain quietly practicing it again while you slept. Sleep also plays a massive role in your emotional health. And this is something that does not get talked about nearly enough. REM sleep in particular helps your brain process and regulate emotional experiences from the day. During REM sleep, your brain replays emotionally significant event, but in a neurochemical environment that is very different from when you are awake. Stress hormones are lower during REM, so your brain can process difficult emotions without the full weight of the stress response attached to them. This is one of the reasons why sleeping on a problem genuinely works. Your brain processes it overnight in a calmer state, and you often wake up with a clearer perspective, less emotional charge, and sometimes even a solution you did not have before. Many researchers believe that dreaming itself is part of this emotional processing. Your brain takes experiences, feelings, and memories and weaves them into dream narratives, helping you work through them in a safe internal environment. Nightmares, as uncomfortable as they are, may actually serve a purpose too. Some scientists believe they are your brain's way of rehearsing responses to fear, threat, or stress, like a practice run for dealing with difficult situations in real life. Sleep also acts like a careful gardener for your brain's connections. During the day, your brain builds new connections between neurons with almost everything you experience. By the end of the day, there are almost too many connections. Your brain is overloaded with signal noise. While you sleep, your brain prunes the weaker, less important connections and strengthens the important ones. This process is called synaptic pruning, and it is essential for keeping your thinking clear, sharp, and efficient the next day. Some scientists describe this as the brain's reset button. Turn down the volume on unnecessary noise, keep the signal that matters, and start fresh the next morning with a cleaner, more focused neural network. Hormones play a huge role in all of this too. As daylight fades and it gets dark, a tiny gland deep inside your brain called the pineal gland starts releasing a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin is basically your brain's internal signal that says, okay, it is time to wind down and go to sleep. This whole process is controlled by your circadian rhythm, not your body's internal 24-hour clock. This clock is managed by a tiny but powerful region of your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which sits in the hypothalamus and responds directly to light and darkness. When light hits your eyes in the morning, it signals the suprachiasmatic nucleus to suppress melatonin, raise body temperature, and gradually increase cortisol, your alertness hormone, helping you wake up and feel ready for the day. And in the evening, as light fades, the whole process reverses. Melatonin rises, body temperature drops, alertness fades, and your brain slowly steers you towards sleep. It is a beautifully timed biological rhythm that has been running in humans for hundreds of thousands of years. Deep sleep also triggers the release of growth hormone, one of the most important hormones your body produces. This is especially critical for children and teenagers whose bodies and brains are still developing. But even in adults, growth hormone plays a key role in tissue repair and physical recovery. Your brain's temperature also changes during sleep, dropping slightly as you enter deeper stages. This mild cooling actually supports the repair and maintenance processes happening inside, making the environment just right for all that nightly work to get done. Now, what happens when your brain does not get enough sleep? Because this is where things get serious. Even a single night of poor sleep has real, measurable effects on how your brain functions the next day. After just one bad night, your ability to focus drops sharply. Your decision-making slows down. Your reaction times get worse. And your emotional regulation, your ability to stay calm, think clearly, and not overreact to small things, takes a significant hit. Your brain's prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logical thinking, impulse control, and good judgment, is one of the first areas to be affected by sleep deprivation. which is why tired people make worse decisions, lose their temper more easily, and struggle to think things through clearly. And over time, chronic sleep deprivation is not just inconvenient, it is genuinely dangerous. It is linked to memory decline, increased risk of anxiety and depression, weakened immune function, and a significantly higher risk of serious brain diseases, including Alzheimer's. Ever caught yourself suddenly zoning out for just a split second when you are really tired, like a tiny blackout? That is called a microsleep. Your brain, exhausted beyond its limits, forces itself to grab a fraction of a second of rest even while you are technically awake. It happens without warning, and it can be extremely dangerous, especially while driving. On the flip side, short naps can be surprisingly powerful. A 20-minute nap has been shown to meaningfully boost alertness, mood, and mental performance without disrupting your nighttime sleep cycle. Some of the world's most productive people swear by the power nap for exactly this reason. Sleep also changes significantly across different stages of life. Newborn babies spend nearly half their total sleep time in REM sleep, which makes sense because their brains are developing at an incredible rate and need all that active neural processing time. As we age, the amount of deep sleep we get naturally decreases. Teenagers have a naturally shifted circadian rhythm. Their melatonin releases later in the evening, making it genuinely harder for them to fall asleep early and wake up early. Early school start times go against the biology of the teenage brain. It is not laziness, it is neuroscience. Sleepwalking and sleep talking are fascinating examples of what happens when the sleep process does not run perfectly smoothly. They typically occur during deep NREM sleep, when part of the brain is still deeply asleep but another part becomes partially active, creating that strange half awake, half asleep state. So what can you actually do to support your brain's nightly work? The most powerful thing is consistency. Going to sleep and waking up at the same time every single day, yes, even on weekends, keeps your circadian rhythm stable and your sleep quality high. Keep your bedroom dark, cool, and quiet. Avoid screens for at least 30 to 60 minutes before bed. The blue light from phones and laptops suppresses melatonin and tricks your brain into thinking it is still daytime. And try not to eat heavy meals or drink caffeine too close to bedtime. Exercise regularly, but not right before sleep. Physical activity during the day increases the amount of deep sleep you get at night, and manage your stress levels. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which directly interferes with your ability to fall and stay asleep. Your brain is doing something extraordinary every single night. Cleaning itself, saving your memories, processing your emotions, repairing your body, pruning unnecessary connections, and resetting itself for a brand new day. All while you're completely unconscious and totally unaware. Sleep is not a passive, lazy thing you do when the day is over. It is one of the most active, productive, and vital things your brain ever does. Every hour of quality sleep is an investment in your health, your mind, your mood, and your future. So the next time someone tries to make you feel guilty for sleeping in or brags about running on 4 hours a night like it is some kind of superpower, you will know the truth. They are not being productive. They are skipping their brain's most important maintenance window. And that right there is what happens inside your brain when you sleep. All night, while the world goes quiet, your brain is doing some of its greatest work in the dark. That is a wrap on today's video. If your mind is buzzing right now, good. That means your brain was paying attention, and tonight when you sleep, it is going to save everything you just learned. How cool is that? If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people find this content. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a new video, and share this with someone who always says they will sleep later. They need to watch this. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I truly appreciate every single one of you. Sleep well tonight. Take care of that incredible brain of yours, and I will see you in the next video. Good night.